The frequency and severity of shocks is increasing. Some people get hit time after time, while others who used to be okay are now struggling to cope. Governments and the international humanitarian community are increasingly under strain trying to respond. People working across the humanitarian, disaster risk management and social protection sectors want to improve systems so that responses to emergencies can better cover those in need, be quicker and more predictable, create less duplication, be more cost-effective and more sustainable. Social protection is already used to help people who are very poor or have suffered personal crisis, such as illness or job loss. There are many types of social protection programme, such as cash and in-kind transfers, pensions, subsidies and free school meals. To deliver these programmes requires systems, for example those that handle targeting, payments and data management. Can social protection programmes and systems be adapted to respond to shocks and disasters? Can they complement or maybe even substitute for emergency response? Governments are exploring this idea in different ways. For example, expanding vertically by providing top-ups to those enrolled on social protection programmes. Expanding horizontally by temporarily adding more people who have been affected by a disaster. Or piggybacking on parts of programmes or systems, for example the beneficiary list or payment mechanism. In countries where government social protection systems are just emerging, humanitarian actors may decide to run a separate emergency programme, but design it in such a way that it can fit with expected future programmes and systems, and eventually be handed over to government. Social protection aims to reduce poverty and the vulnerability of communities, which ultimately makes them more resilient to shocks. So, in many countries, the priority will be first to strengthen the underlying social protection system. The more mature, comprehensive and effective the underlying social protection system, the more opportunities there are to make it useful in a crisis. All social protection programmes can have their design tweaked to take shocks into consideration. For example, by prioritising disaster-prone areas or adjusting the payment schedule to fit with seasonal vulnerabilities. However, even when the social protection system can be used after a disaster, it is just one piece of the jigsaw puzzle. Even if a strong programme is in place, it is unlikely that it will be able to meet the needs of all disaster-affected people. Other types of emergency response will also be necessary. Governments and partners who want to make their social protection programmes and systems ready to be used after a shock need to consider whether there is enough capacity to handle the extra workload, where the extra money will come from and how it will be accessed, what data is needed and how to prepare it, how to handle political issues, for example if a programme is linked to a particular party, and what regulations need to be put in place ahead of time. In conflict areas, these operational challenges become even more difficult. Other risks and challenges include coordinating between national and local levels, how to scale down programmes or exit without causing problems, and how to communicate changes to programmes without causing confusion. Social protection actors have been trying to use their tools to become more responsive to shocks, and humanitarian actors have been trying to take a more long-term approach. Many are eager to consider using a wider variety of tools, but we need to work more effectively together, sharing ideas and know-how. The disaster risk management sector has other tools that could be useful, for example, early warning systems and vulnerability assessments. Building strategic coordination between sectors is a priority. Together we can create better responses.